Hey, it's Carlos. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit, a little controversial. We're going to talk about why do men watch porn. I'm going to give you 3 reasons you probably didn't know. You know, I remember back when I was a kid, there were ads in the local paper along with all the current blockbusters and the movies that were playing in the theater. And these ads always showed women in these sexually alluring poses. There were these little tiny ads in the corner, and I kind of sensed at the time this was something a little bit adult. I even remember my mom calling them the dirty movie section. Now, of course, the XXX feature at your local downtown cinema has been replaced over the years with VHS, satellite TV. Now we got the internet. In fact, it's been understood and widely regarded that a lot of technology industries actually got their start to support the porn industry. Who'd have thought that, right? Well, most women have an awkward relationship with porn. Some say it's a terrible thing that's responsible for abuse, maligning women, ruining marriages, and then there's others that say it's something that's capable of being good if you guide it with morals. Well, I believe it's a little bit of both, but whatever you might believe, it's here to stay, so we gotta learn why it does what it does for guys. Now, we all know that the primary demand for adult entertainment is usually men. However, women and women's use of porn has been on the rise in recent years. Here's some shocking statistics for you. According to a study published in the Journal of Adolescent Research, about half, that's 49% of young adult women agree that viewing pornography is an acceptable way of expressing one's sexuality. And about 1 in 5 women, about 18%, use the internet for sexual purposes habitually every single week. More and more frequently, women are finding themselves involved in consuming a lot of adult videos and movies. But we're not here to judge or look for reasons to point the finger of blame. I want to help you understand why men watch porn, even if they're happily married. And yes, that's the conundrum. The dilemma is, how can a man who is happily married or in a loving relationship watch pornography? Isn't that a contradiction? In other words, if he were really happy, why would he need anything else but me? That's what most women say. You got to realize that a man's reality is very different from a woman's reality when it comes to sexual stuff like this. A woman has a very single-minded focus when it comes to her primary relationship. She's driven by the need to attend to the strength of the connection. There's evolutionary reasons for this, but suffice to say that the strength of her bond with her mate meant the difference between surviving and not surviving. So men view sex differently than women do in several different ways. Just keep in mind that men have a different relationship to their sexual needs. Ever since he was a young boy, a guy learned that his sexual needs were going to be met in one of 2 ways. A willing girlfriend or, taking care of yourself, self-stimulation. And the reality is that there's much more opportunity to take care of himself than it is to go through the hurdles of breaking down his girlfriend's resistance, right? And if that isn't a depressing enough situation, he was probably shamed for both of those needs for most of the years of his childhood. You see, 2 things you got to know. Men don't typically view porn to escape their relationship, although some might. This falls under the category of commonly misunderstood facts about porn. And the other thing is that men don't typically view porn to cheat on their girlfriends or their wives, although some may in some way. It's mostly done to satisfy his own curiosity and his own sexual needs. Alright, so let's get to reason number 1 why he watches. Number 1, men want a guilt-free method of experiencing their sexual fantasies. You see, through the media and other channels of information, men are often pushed into an uncomfortable relationship with their sexual desires. Most often, that relationship carries a ton of guilt. He feels guilt because of the rational messages that tell him his viewing of porn is logically wrong, and then the brutal physical reality that his sexual needs are not rational in any way. And nor are they ever going to be. He gets a ton of mixed messages about sex and his desires. Some men develop such an overwhelming amount of guilt about their sexual experience that they will withdraw from the real world of relationships into porn, simply because it's a whole lot simpler. Reason number 2 why a man watches is he's looking to experience some specific fantasy desires. See, men will want to watch to fulfill some innate sexual desires that life very often doesn't give him. Here's a couple of those needs that he has. Number 1 is he wants to experience sexual power vicariously through somebody else. Sex in a mansion on Lake Como in Italy? Yeah. Sex with 3 women who want to adore me? Sign me up. Well, that's what these videos do. They are designed to let him experience scenarios in vivid detail that he would probably never get to experience in real life. So a lot of those scenarios serve to give him an escape to a life he will probably never have. Number 2, sometimes he just wants to focus on him. without having to do all the foreplay work. Look, ladies, men are hardwired to want to please women and to ensure your pleasure in the bedroom. It's a primary focus of ours. And if we're being even slightly truthful here, that's not always an easy thing to do for you. Sometimes we just want to knock one out and not worry about everyone else having to get theirs, or 20 to 30 minutes of foreplay. And number 3, he has a need. He loves visual entertainment of all kinds, especially when it comes to women who tantalize us visually every day, everywhere we look. We love the fantasy of seeing sex from all different kinds of angles and different kinds of women. And reason number 3 that he watches, he wants the most basic of all human needs, well, at least for men. Many women don't understand the amount of psychology that is built into most of the porn that's available these days. It's marketed to men, for men, by men in most cases. And these companies know what men want and desire. That knowledge about what we want is backed up with an incredible amount of research and hard data from the internet. These sites know which videos are most popular, most clicked, and most viewed. You don't think they harvest that information and think, he seems to like videos with Asian women and threesomes. Okay, let's give him more of that. So what is his most basic human need? This is huge, ladies, so pay attention. What do men want more than anything, especially from you? Maybe even more than love in a lot of ways. It's simple. In one word, acceptance. Men want acceptance more than anything. We want acceptance for his sexuality, for his needs. He wants acceptance for his sexual weaknesses and desires. He wants acceptance from you. He really just wants to know that you find him adequate, up to the task. You'll notice that many of the scenes in porn these days feature women that are making heavy eye contact with the camera. That's another acceptance thing that guys desperately want. The words the actresses say, they're all designed, they're all written around, I know when they're actually talking, when those are all written around the acceptance of the man viewing it, fulfilling his fantasies of being desirable as well as acceptable. In fact, a recent study shows that men spend more time than women, in fact, viewing faces. They are spending more time tracking the faces in porn than the bodies themselves. Kind of interesting, huh? Why is that? Well, he's looking for her expression to tell him how she feels about him. He's looking for the signals that tell him he's being accepted, he's acceptable, and he's okay about his desires and his needs. The big lesson here is this. You can make your man more in love with you than ever before if you know how to make him feel accepted by you. Nagging or criticizing doesn't work, but there is another way. There's a way to make him want you more than any adult film star or stripper could, and it's as simple as knowing how to make him find you irresistible. If you can awaken this irresistible desire in him for you, he'll gladly turn off the naughty.com and get back to pleasing you. If you want to know more about the secrets of irresistible desire, click the link you see down below this video. And of course, what else have you got to do? Every week I got to tell you, you got to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to these videos and get them every week. Then make sure you like it. And of course, comment below. Leave me your questions. Let me know what it is you really want to know about. I'll see you next time. This is Carlos Cavallo with those dating tips to open a man's heart. As always, live and love with passion.